Alright, welcome back to TEW 2020, rebooking the new era, or just the new era for short, whatever. We're back here with Night 7 of the Cruiserweight Classic, and tonight marks the final night of Round 2 of the tournament. And we only have 2 tournament matches booked for tonight. We have 2 WWE veterans going head-to-head in Evan Bourne facing the Brian Kendrick. And then we have 2 men who've never stepped a foot in a WWE ring prior to this tournament, and those 2 men are Hangman Adam Page and El Pentagon, who will most likely be accompanied by his brother, his lucha brother, I think his real brother, Fenix, in that match. And since there's only 2 matches tonight, will there be more in the show? Will there be an abundance of angles? Will there be another match? Or something else? Well, we're about to find out as Renee Young's going to open the show of the Cruiserweight Classic regarding this announcement. And let's get into the show. So, Renee Young's opening the show, and as you'll see, the segment is just called Renee Young Gives the Fans a Full Show, and that's basically saying that she realizes that there's only 2 tournament matches here tonight. When you're running a tournament, you might have a few shows where there are less matches than you might want, or more matches than you might want, and instead of making these matches Iron Man matches and ruining, the credibility of the tournament so far, she has decided that we will open the show with a showcase tag team match of not Cruiserweight Classic competitors, but NXT tag teams. And she has brought up 2 teams that she feels could really be huge names in the WWE in the coming weeks. And if you don't watch NXT and you watch the Cruiserweight Classic, here's a great chance to meet them. Everybody welcome Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan and the team of Occam and Razor, the authors of Pain. Before we get into that match, I do want to explain, if it was up to me, I would have just let these matches go 30 minutes each or whatever and just have the show be these 2 matches, but I can't. In TEW, you gotta book according to the game's rules, and the game says that if you have 2 guys who are unimportant and you use one for X amount of time, it's gonna penalize your show. And I know I always say, well, I don't care about the ratings. Well, there's 2 ratings I do care about, and it's the individual's performances, and that does affect the individual's performances. Whether or not they're being used too much on a show, or too much in a match, I should say, it's going to affect how, the length of the match. It's going to be like, these guys weren't over enough, and those are the ratings I really want to see if people are ready to go straight to the main roster, or if I should have some of these Cruiserweight Classic guys go into Dev. So instead of using too many angles, that was my original plan, was to have a bunch of angles, and the product for the brand was like, nah, dude. So we just have to have a tag team match that means basically nothing except a little showcase. See, crowd were turned off by the match. So I believe that does impact the segment rating, but not the individual performance rating. It's the was used too long in a match penalty that affects the performance rating. And I keep the Authors of Pain win streak alive. This time in NXT, 3 people technically had undefeated streaks before getting called up to the main roster. And those 3 people were both the Authors of Pain and Asuka, and I'm going to keep that streak going. And if I ever call them up and they do lose, I'm just going to say they didn't, because I don't get to book NXT, and I think of it as like I have small inputs on NXT, and that's one of my small inputs, is to keep these undefeated streaks alive. But we get into the first tournament match, and it's between Hangman Adam Page and El Pentagon. And as I said before, Rey Fenix is at ringside, but he doesn't do anything. Pentagon tells him no interfering, much like Rey Fenix told Pentagon, and him and Hangman Adam Page have a match, and what a match it is. But in the end, Pentagon is simply not as good as the Hangman, and the Hangman picks up the victory after 13:25 getting a 47, and Pentagon got a 56. Jeez, Pentagon. Holy shit. That's fucking Pentagon. Yeah, there's a fucking reason that he's always... Yeah, him and his brother are fucking loved. So, Hangman and Adam Page advances in the tournament, and now both Lucha Brothers are eliminated, and that's kind of... That might suck. There was one person in the comments that I read who wanted one of the Lucha Brothers to take on Kota Ibushi so they could see a Lucha Resu match. And I'm sorry, but I wanted Hangman Page going over. And I can't remember who Rey Fenix fought, but I wanted him to go over too. So, I promise you at one point in this save, if I don't have to cancel it, because, reasons, I will give you a Lucha Resu match, okay? So, now it's time for the main event. The two WWE veterans, the man with the plan versus the man, Evan Bourne, and these guys, I believe, now officially have the longest match in the tournament, mainly because they're both recognizable, so they can go a decent amount of time, and neither man willing to give an inch. Both men realize this might be their last chance they get in the biggest company in the world. They both, I guess in kayfabe, they both flubbed it last time, even though if you ask any fan, WWE flubbed it. So... kind of no, but in kayfabe, they flubbed their opportunity, and neither one of them want to give the other one a small break before taking over. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm just kind of rambling. But in the end, Brian Kendrick goes for the sliced bread. Evan Bourne reverses it, hits a double foot stomp while Brian Kendrick is on the ground, quick as he can, jumps on the top rope, airborne, and picks up the victory. Evan Bourne defeats Brian Kendrick in 17:40. That might not actually be the longest now that I think about it. I think someone got about 18 minutes, a little more than 18 minutes in a match. So, Evan Bourne getting a 60, that's very good. Evan Bourne getting a 60, that's very good. Brian Kendrick, I'm just going to say it right now, he's probably going straight to the main roster. I can't imagine me putting Brian Kendrick in NXT. I need bodies on the main roster, and Brian Kendrick is very good, and I might even push him a little. So, that's how we end Night 7 of the Cruiserweight Classic. So yeah, next is Night 8 out of 10. There's only 3 left before it's just Raw and SmackDown again, and I don't have the matches ready. I didn't, decide which matches are going on which episode, so you'll have to wait till next SmackDown Live to find out who's fighting who next week. And that is about it for the episode. And I should rephrase that. I have all the matches ready. Like the bracket, it's not like you win a round and then you randomly selected. I just haven't decided which matches are going on which night yet, is what I meant. So, actually, now that I think about it, they might be all on Night 8. Oh well, find out on the next SmackDown Live, and I hope to see you for Monday Night Raw.